And hold on a second. And welcome to the podcast. We're talking about everything that comes out of the crapshoot. I'm your host, Jamie. This is my co-host,
Life, everybody. This is your co-host, James.
I call him James. Everyone else calls him Jimmy. And a lot of things have happened this week, James. Anyway, this is the first time I recorded, and so you were just telling me about.
There are no previous recordings.
You were telling me something about your fun Friday morning, a small thing that happened to you on Friday morning, where you woke up. You remember this? You woke up, and then you had your earbud still in your ear because you forgot to take it out when you fell asleep. And then when you took it out of your ear, the little rubber tip got stuck in your ear. And then in the process of trying to get it out of your ear, you accidentally pushed it deeper.
I like you trying to speedrun it.
Couldn't get it out anymore. And then now we're inside your workplace because you had to go to work like a normal person. And now you're talking to your boss, trying to convince your boss that there's something stuck in your ear that he can't see. Now continue.
So yeah, my boss goes, hey, Jim Bob, hey, Jim boy,
Jim.
Hey, Jimster. I know a place you should go. I go, really, boss? He goes,
Yeah.
Yep.
He recommends you a place. It's a different place. I mean, you were gonna go to
medical care,
or you were gonna go to like UMC, I think, urgent medical care.
Both places would have been UMC, but I specifically would have gone to the quick care option,
right?
Which is like kind of your local. Everywhere has one. Like almost
that's just
one
like
per neighborhood,
casual,
essentially.
The casual, you have something that you think is wrong, but it's not serious type of thing. Exactly what you had.
That's where I'm going to go.
Right. That's where you were going to go. But then keyword. Your boss was like, oh man, that sounds terrible, but actually I know this place that you can go get treated for your imaginary disease. I mean, sorry, your affliction. Okay. And so he recommends you. Does he say like the exact same thing, or can you not say it on?
He gives me the address.
Okay, I guess you can't say it on the podcast, but he gives you the address.
Yeah, he like says the address, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. I look at it online. I'm like, okay, it says UMC on it. I'll trust it.
I'll go. I mean, it's your boss.
Well, hey, you wouldn't lie to me for monetary gain, would you?
No. I mean, what would he have to gain?
He turns in his chair and looks up at me doing the SpongeBob smile.
He puts his hands together, taps his fingers together.
No, of course not.
And as you walk out of the room, he thinks to himself, this will teach that dude a lesson trying to get out of the work.
And when he looks back at me, it's the hyper edits of Mojito and Sakana or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Sakana, exactly. And then it's the monologue. It's a different monologue of Low Tier God where he's talking about chasing someone through the woods in a black cloak.
But yeah, I drive there. It's like a 16-minute drive from my workplace. So it's like, hey, this ain't so bad,
Of course not.
It's easy. It's close by, I mean, there was another place that was closer, but this is the one my boss recommended. So of course I'll go here. I get there. I'm like, oh, wow, full facility type place too. Because I see they had multiple different entries. And so I'm cool. I go in.
It's the fancy place.
I have to go through a metal detector. They're like, anything metal in your pockets? No. You sure? Yeah, no.
You sure about that? Well, I mean, obviously they have to check with you because you look like the kind of guy, James. You look like that kind of guy.
According to them, I look like another kind of guy too, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
A little foreshadowing for you writers at home.
That's a director's subtle hint.
Director's subtle hint that something else is said to me in these moments later on. I then get into a waiting room. I have to talk to a lady where I'm like entirely nervous because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And she's like, I don't know what you're doing here either, bud, but whatever. Signs me up, asks me questions about my life, my social security number, my date of birth, what the name of my first pet was, my mother's maiden name. Wait a second.
Stuff like that. Your social security number, your bank account number, username and password. Where you've been to in the past couple days.
They ask you at the quick care.
Yeah, your average questions. They have to know more about you in order
they
to
ask me,
treat your symptoms.
am I an organ donor? I say no. They check mark yes. Yeah, then I end up waiting in a waiting room for like 3 hours.
3 hours sounds about right. Yeah. And meanwhile, you strike a conversation with the guy next to you, and he's missing both his legs and still bleeding. And then you halfway through the conversation realize he's not replying back to you. So you look at the other direction and you go talk to the little girl, and she has, her neck doesn't look quite right, and her whole entire body's mangled, but that's okay. So then you just go back to sitting there in silence. Right, James?
Pretty much. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
This guy understands.
Yeah. I mean, you get called into the office after 3 hours.
You get it. But yeah, I finally get called into like a little room on the side. I walk over, and they start taking my blood pressure. Like, don't move your arm.
They firmly grasp your wrist, so you can't forcefully move your arm at all. And they're like, stop resisting, as they pump a needle full of some strange substance.
Squeezing my arm, and I'm like staying still. They're like, don't move.
A weird substance that glows green, has a bioluminescence to it.
I feel my nose and something's wrong, but nothing's there yet.
You bend over and a big pimple pops out of your ass. You get that reference?
I do. Do the people watching?
No.
That's the question.
But it's funny even out of context, even if you don't know what I'm talking about.
It's funnier the second time.
It's even funnier the third time. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the like little side room, and then they start asking me a series of questions. How tall are you? How much do you weigh? Are you suicidal?
4'6", 760 pounds. Yes. And then what else?
That's it.
That's it. They asked you 3 questions. They said
they
asked you how tall you were, how much you weighed, and then if you were suicidal or not.
Yeah. And the answer was maybe, yes, and
the
all in that
order. Maybe. And the third answer is sometimes. Yeah.
So yeah, finally I get pulled into the back room after another 20 minutes of waiting from there. The back room's where all the medical tent and everything that they got is. Fun times. Definitely didn't feel awkward and weird. I did.
Right.
I lied, I did.
I mean, that's not strange though. You always feel awkward and weird. That's like 80% of your being.
That's my entire character arc.
That's your character, James. That's your character arc. Season 1 hasn't ended yet. You can't change.
I wish I could.
The season 1 doesn't end until 80 years later, James. This is season 1. We're not even halfway through it yet. So anyway, doctor walks over to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he checks your ear, and he's like, he sticks his pinky finger into your ear.
He goes, oh man.
He sticks his whole pinky finger into his mouth, licks it around a bit, and then he sticks into your ear, and he's like, yeah, it's definitely in there.
Starts going, yeah, this one's a little loose. How about the other one?
Swirling around your ear, like,
blockage.
Oh, yep, it's definitely blocked in there. Can't get to your eardrum.
Starts doing the whole like lineup.
Pulls it out with a wet pop.
Me in the side of the head.
Pulls it out with a wet pop, and then he reaches over to the tweezers, and he's like, and he turns, he's like, nurse, where are the tweezers at? And the nurse wakes up from her drunken like sleep, and alcohol bottles falling over into the ground, smashing into the ground, breaking.
A clanking of noises.
She stumbles over to the trash can, pulls out a pair of tweezers from it, hands it to the doctor, and he's like, all right, now don't move. And
let's see if I can still cut a straight line.
I still got this. And then he goes into your ear, stabs it a couple times, but he manages to get it out. And it's all good, right? And then you walk out of the hospital feeling like a fresh dude. And you can finally get back to work with 120% energy than when you walked in. And that's it.
So
let's rewind back to the tweezers.
No, yeah, let's wind it back. Firstly, he does that. He's asking for like alligator tweezers. The other nurse is like mosquito tweezers. He's like alligator tweezers.
Alligator tweezers. What animal has 3 letters in his name? Hippo? Yeah, close enough.
Mesquite.
Moss.
Alibaba.
Elefante. So she hands in the tweezers and then
well, no, he never gets the alligator tweezers. He, I guess, uses the mosquito ones. I'm not entirely sure because I didn't get to see because I was more struck in horror at something else that happened just a few moments later on.
Right. But so he takes the earbud out of your ear just fine. Like it's no problem, right?
Yeah, no, completely super easy. Took like literally less than a minute of him trying to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
It was so relieving when he pulled it out too. There was like genuine like discomfort I was stuck in prior that immediately disappeared the moment he pulled it out.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to mention like the congealed goo that was covering the ear tip as he pulled it out of you, and that your face was just covered in grease, and your entire body. The doctor was incredibly uncomfortable doing it, being anywhere close to you. But let's just skip over that and go straight into.
Let's just skip over that, please.
Let's go into the dangerousness.
I'm a highly sensitive person. It's insane that you'd say that. Just real information.
I understand that you're a highly sensitive person, but this is like exposure
I'm a highly
therapy.
Sensitive person.
This is exposure therapy, James. You know, being a sensitive person is.
I don't think this is how
negative.
Exposure therapy works.
It's
We're just saying word.
So I'm constantly exposing you to your shame so that it can prepare you for situations in the future where, you know, it's actually serious. Like this doctor appointment.
No. So another nurse comes by. I start drawing on a napkin because I got bored because I was sitting in the room for like 20 minutes. He's like a Warhammer fan. So he's talking to me because I was drawing Warhammer. And we started hitting it off and having a great conversation.
Really? Like
and nothing felt bad.
Sure.
It was a really solid conversation. I was having fun having it. It was just nice to talk. I was like, hey, this was a really stressful experience. So I'm really glad I'm getting to have like a moment of reprieve mentally for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the moment passed as I sat down at the final lady. Because that's when
everyone's favorite part of a doctor visit.
The copay. And I was like, you know, I've done this before. I had tuberculosis in the past. I understood what I was getting into. I understand. So I get there and I sit down. And me and the lady are talking. She's being super nice because she realizes like I've either not done this in a while or have never done this before. It's not in a while. That's the answer. And so I was really nervous. Obviously, again, I was you know like, hey, you know, I'm really glad I'm having somebody to like help me through this. She's like, yes, of course. You know, I'm just really trying to help you. And then we get to the part where I have to pay when all the sums are added up and whatnot. You know, pair of tweezers
you have to pay for your sins.
Expensive.
You have to pay for the sins of your past life, James.
The darkest pit of hell is opened.
Swallow you whole.
It's here to swallow me whole, old friend.
And it's a piece of paper that she hands you.
Let's not keep the devil waiting. She says the words, I don't want to tell you this next part. And I go, that's a bit ominous, but it's, hey, whatever.
You think to yourself, uh-oh, Scoob. You think to yourself, but I'm not gay.
I am.
She hands you the paper. You are.
She turns her screen around after like not tying me, and she then says the words, "This is $1,000." And I go, "You're joking," because we were just having a fun conversation. She goes, "Next time I'm begging you, go to a quick care." I say, "Isn't this a quick care?" She says, "This is an emergency room." I look her dead in the eyes and I go, why would you accept me in an emergency room?
And then she goes, because this is $1,000, and she starts cracking a wide grin on her face.
She goes, because this is the American healthcare system. Open up.
Now bend over, spread those cheeks.
This isn't all we're taking.
This is going to be very painful for your first time.
And it was. My body had a horrid physical reaction to learning this news, by the way.
It like short-circuited.
Your
brain short-circuited, and
I genuinely stopped talking.
You had an aneurysm, and then you started having a horrendous nosebleed.
Well, no, not yet. Hold on, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
I first was still sitting in the chair thinking this isn't real.
The chair.
As my skin began to crawl, my blood felt cold, and I could feel my heart begin to slow down. I was becoming a corpse in real time.
Shriveling up in real time.
I was turning into the shrunken heads from Beetlejuice.
You were slowly being turned into an alternate. Don't know if that's still okay to say.
I pay the money. She's like, please, 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 for the love of God, next time just go to a quick clear. And I say, yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally because, like, what else? What are you supposed to say? Like, oh, dough, like.
So funny if you just turn to her, did the cot emote, put your hands up next to your head, and you just go, no. Oh my God.
But yeah, I get my stuff. I go outside. I walk all the way back to my car at the very back of the parking lot. And I sit down in it, and I stare down at that paper that says the number 1000 on it. And I'm just staring at it.
It's 1,000 flat, by the way. It's just flat 1,000.
It's just a whole one.
It's just a 100.
I'm just staring at it, and my nose feels funny. I lift the finger up to it. My finger is now soaked in blood.
It's just solid congealed blood.
Yeah, on your finger. I'm just staring down at it. In the moment, like, just unfazed, just like fucking just like in not even awe, like no shock, no nothing, just staring, just contempt.
You know,
and I put a piece of tissue in my nose, and I do the 60-minute drive back to work, you know, and I get there. I get out of my car, I pull out the tissue because I'm like, you know, it's been 15 minutes, I'm sure it's fine. Oh, it's even worse.
It has not gone better.
Nope. If not anything, actively got worse.
Right. Because now you have to meet with your boss, your best friend, who's betrayed you.
A real good man.
A good man. I mean, so I like him. He sounds cool to me.
I wish. I wish I knew the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you meet up with your boss, and what does your boss say?
Oh, you know, just the greatest of things. Just you know, real supportive of this situation, and definitely doesn't go, "Oh, why'd you go there?"
It was $1,000. Oh, well, why'd you go there? Sounds like kind of a personal problem, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's literally him doing that though, because it's like, oh, why? What do you mean?
Oh, well, don't you feel like a little dumb Jim? A little dumb Jim dumb?
Well, why would you do something foolish like that, pal? You're right. Why would I?
You don't remember what you said to me just 30 minutes ago, did you?
My skin is not my own.
Sorry, not 30 minutes ago. 4 hours ago.
4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Of a work day.
Well, James, I'd hate to have you relive this traumatic experience that you had.
Because it just made me retell it again.
I know. But
sometimes,
I mean, content is content. I mean, what's happened has happened.
Game is game.
And sometimes when you're on a podcast and you're a content creator and you have a story like that, that's particularly traumatic. Of course,
when my life is literally just that story over and over again.
When you are just that guy, we have to tell that story on the podcast. So thank you, James. Everyone, thank you, James, for sharing your story. And may you have nothing but roses and daisies for the rest of your days. Anyway, on to some other news. I have a lot of topics actually, and I'm not sure which one I should start with.
I have political ones.
I've got one that's not political.
Don't you want my political ones?
I mean, you can have your political take on your drunk FNAF. I'm pretty sure it'll come out during your drunk FNAF stream. It's happening. That has already happened when the podcast has come out, but it's happening right now in real time later tonight. So that's going to happen. But first, I wanted to mention that a little update for the Concord thing. I don't know if it's actually true or not. The Concord game, that it might, that the figures for how much it cost to make might be a little bit off from what we first thought it was.
How so? Like
it was more. We were underestimating it. So I'm not sure how true it is, because apparently it came from like a whistleblower, someone who worked on the project. But apparently the first time they pitched Concord, right? You know that it was 8 years in development, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like a 6 to 8 year old game or something.
8 years in development, and the very first time they did like a demo, like a demo for the game, and they showed it to a bunch of other people. They didn't like it, so they spent way more money to kind of redo the game. Like a way into its development cycle. They said the words
"Sweet Baby Ink," please.
They said the words, "Oh man."
Wait a minute. Get it how you get it. Turn toes down with the standing on. This is some big step off.
So yeah, it wasn't 100 million. It was
more.
It was 400 million is what the new number is. Again, not sure if that's actually how much it was. I think we can confidently say it's between 100 and 400 million, and maybe leaning closer to 400 million probably if it was over 8 years. AAA game by Sony, by the way. Sony AAA, there's a controller, Concord controller that they made for the game.
They made a Concord controller?
Yes, they did. They made a theme Concord controller, PS5 DualShock Concord controller. I mean, it was going to be the next big thing, really.
No. It definitely wasn't.
It was going to be the next big tax write-off. So anyway, that's the only thing I wanted to mention with the Concord. Another thing that's been happening in recent times, recent brain rot culture. Do you know what it is, James? What I'm about to say?
What?
It's a new podcast that's come out.
Oh,
starring one of our favorite people in the world. I don't even know her name, actually. I just thought of that right now. The Chute girl.
Oh, have we ever talked about that?
No, we have never. It's because I didn't know about it until like a week ago when one of my friends who I never thought would know what that is told me about it. So now I'm telling you about it.
Losers that you know.
What was that?
When one of the heathenist losers that you know.
Exactly. Yeah. He's just it was William, and he's just like
wow.
His entire life. I could have
never guessed William of all people.
His entire life is just a gym rat. He's just a gym rat. So I didn't think he was part of the.
Such a gooner. I'm sorry.
I didn't think he was part of like the down, like the what was it?
Down beds.
The brain rot culture, like with Chute. So anyway, that girl, apparently there was a girl that got famous off of there was like you know how street interview content is pretty popular on TikTok and Shorts, I guess.
Yeah.
She was in one of those videos, those kinds of videos, and I think
she said you got to give it that Chute.
Yeah, that's what it was, and that's the only thing that made her famous. Noise. Which I mean, at this point, I don't think I'm very surprised about how stupid something could be that gets you, famous. I didn't think it was that funny to begin with, but apparently people think it's hilarious. Otherwise, it wouldn't be that popular.
One
right?
of my coworkers thought it was so fucking funny. They were losing their minds over it, and they're like, "It's so funny." I'm like staring them down the eyes, and I'm like, "Is it? This is humor?
It is, James, because it's really popular. Apparently, she made a podcast, and guess what that podcast is connected to? It's
the Roost.
Is connected to just everybody, just all over the place. Well, first of all, the podcast, I heard it wasn't that good, but I can't really complain. I can't really complain because we also do a podcast and it's also, not very good.
I think our podcast is at least enjoyable.
I mean, it's enjoyable for you to watch, but that's just because you make sense of the banter that's going on between us. Okay, but what is the jokes that we talk about. But
what is she going to talk about?
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I didn't see any clips either. I just heard that it was bad. I mean, maybe she talks about hot tooing all the time. Like, it's funnier the second time.
Is it?
It's even funnier the second time. But I know that she's connected to apparently Jake Paul. Jake Paul got in touch with her, and now she's in like his friend circle of influencers type of thing.
Yeah, they're big friends.
They're just. I know Jake Paul. I didn't realize how Jake Paul was just like, he just appears in everything, but I don't see him ever start his own show. He's just there in a lot of other things that I've seen.
Well, that's because that requires any sense of creativity.
No, because you know where else he appeared in that was surprising to me. He showed up in that Ford F-150 versus Tesla Cybertruck video. You remember that? Have you watched the video?
Jake Paul shows up in that?
Yeah. You told me about that video, actually. And
right. That's why I'm like,
I went and watched it. Then I went and watched it because I thought you watched it and you were telling me to go watch it because it was funny. I watched it and it was funny. I don't remember
him showing up.
First of all, I'm not a car guy, so I don't like either of them. Apparently they both kind of suck, but the Ford F-150 is better, technically. But there is a point in his video, the guy who tests the cars, where he's like, I'm going to bring out a group of guys, a group of my boys, and of my friends, and we're going to like do a riding test on these cars. So we're going to like get them to smash the car, try to break into the car while I'm in it. And so, so a bunch of his friends walk out. I don't know most of them, but you know who does walk out and I do recognize him? Jake Paul. He comes. He just walks out with a bunch of these other guys. I'm like, what the heck? What's he doing there?
So, I genuinely don't remember him being in it.
He's in there. He is in there. He's part of the group riots on him.
He did that shit.
I guarantee you I would never mistake Jake Paul's face for someone else. Okay, it is 100%.
Who else looks like that freak?
Who else can look like that? So anyway, he was in there.
Who else is that fuck ugly?
Yeah. When you were telling me about how bad the Cybertruck was and how good the Ford F-150 was, I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to watch this video. And then I watched the video, and the Ford F-150 is also just ass. It's bad too.
It's your opinion.
I mean, they do the door slam thing, and you didn't mention that the Ford F-150 also failed the door slam. Like, come on, James.
That's because I did want to shit on the Cybertruck a little more.
That's true.
Can you blame me for being a little biased? I hate Tesla.
Not. Everyone is a little biased. Of course you hate Tesla.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't?
Caught emo right here.
Who doesn't?
Caught emo right here. I think he's kind of funny. Of course, I don't own any of his products, but I don't use any of his products either, but I think it's kind of funny.
Okay, JD,
he's at least funny looking. Tesla. Like, come on now. Can we not bless Elon Musk for giving us some content to work with?
No. Sorry, I don't ride dicks.
Yeah, okay. You sure about that, James?
No.
UMC would disagree with you. So anyway, Jake Paul is in there. And another thing.
Yeah, we didn't bring that up, so that comment makes no sense. We didn't even mention that part of the story.
It flows really nicely into the next topic that I was going to mention too, with Jake Paul. And well, it's about his brother, Logan Paul. And it's not really about his brother, Logan Paul. It's about who his brother's working with now. You hear about the Mr. Beast Lunchly thing?
Not Lunchable.
No, not Lunchables. It's Lunchly.
No.
Lunchly is a new brand that Mr. Beast has partnered with Logan Paul and KSI to create. So now they're making. It's apparently gotten a lot of hate. I don't know why exactly.
Who could have guessed?
I don't know, man. It's just
I never saw it coming.
I mean, it's just a funny little like snack box that you can eat. It's just a
joke. Don't take it so seriously.
I mean, it's not for us, James. It's just fine.
No, it's not for us exactly. You get it.
So anyway, people really don't like it.
No, not anyway.
Because apparently they were claiming something like, oh, Well, I think they claim that it's better than Lunchables.
Yeah, but it's like better for you, like by the smallest margin.
I don't know if they claimed it was healthy per se, but it's still not. I think they did. It's not. Spoiler warning.
By no means.
You caught me. Caught emote. It's not. Spam noted. And yeah, so they're getting shit on in social media, and the funny thing is they try to defend themselves, or I guess defend Lunchley.
It's so
every single one of them, by the way, all three of them. So Mr. B, they all take like a different approach to defending Lunchley.
I think such a shit job.
I think KSI was just I think KSI just memes it about it, where he's just like just stay mad, keep hating. So that is his approach. It didn't work.
Woke.
Logan Paul did like a whole like he did the actually. He did the actually the sodium is actually really good, and we don't know Lunchables has lead in it and stuff. So he took that approach, and that didn't work. And then Mr. Beast, our boy Mr. Beast, who is still off he's still hot off the previous drama of his that was including his like contestants or something,
amongst other things.
So his it was funny because he gets slapped with this like drama about his workplace, his work environment, and then his response was to say, guys, I've just partnered up with Logan Paul and KSI, and we're launching Lunchly. Woo, dabs all over the place, spam noted, staking a Chad.
My reputation's really in the gutter.
Yeah, and then he posts like
a way to get out of this.
He posts like a couple paragraphs explaining how or like just justifying Lunchly, like, oh, it's just a better alternative than Lunchables. So, nothing illegal happening over here. Basically, was what that was.
But there was something
I don't think
illegal.
it worked. I don't think it worked. Also, what's the illegal thing, James? You want to explain to me, huh? Because I love
human trafficking.
Because I love hiring sex offenders on purpose.
Did that catch you off guard?
Hiring sex offenders on purpose. Apparently you did that. Did you know that? I only figured out after the Lunchley thing came out.
What?
Mr. Beast, like purposely hiring sex offenders, like known sex offenders. He hired them onto some of his projects.
No, I had no clue. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was one of the things.
This is real. Like I was doing a bit. I was trying to be funny. What?
That wasn't a bit, James. That's real. It's real.
Oh no.
That's pretty funny considering Mr. Beast is more kid friendly than not. That brand, Mr. Beast.
Yeah, well, some worry a bit too kid friendly.
But now I know what to get you for your birthday, James, and it's gonna be a big old box of Lunchly. We got to do a food review of it, James.
For Christmas, I'm gonna kill you.
We had to do a food review of Lunchly, James, on Christmas Eve.
There was no other way. I had to say
there's no other way. I had to do it. You left me with no choice.
There was no other way.
Mr. Beast left me with no choice. We have to do it. So anyway, I can't wait to eat that.
I have to commit genocide.
Were you a big Lunchables kid, James?
Kinda. I like the ham and cheese.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. I never had it, so.
They're gonna say surprise, surprise. James liked that.
Oh no, I said surprise, surprise. I never had it, so. So even if we if we ever do a Lunchly food review thing, I won't have Lunchables to compare it to because I never had it. So. Oh well. Dough. So yeah, Lunchly is coming out. I'm excited for it. Everyone's excited for it. Can't wait. Can't wait. You know who can wait though?
The courts.
Our boy. That's right. Our boy who is in court right. Is he in court right now? I don't know. Diddler. He is. He might be in court right now.
It could have been anybody.
It could have been a lot of people, but I know
you could have been referring to a large list.
No, but I was referring to Mr. Freak Off himself.
Freak offs.
They
said those words in a courtroom.
Freak Off himself.
A U.S. senator said the words freak off.
They said it.
Not living in the real world.
So apparently P. Diddy has been a menace. And that's an understatement for a long time. Racketeering. Couple charges he's on: racketeering, sex trafficking, some other things that are I don't remember off the top of my head. Those ones were the big ones that popped up in my mind. Pretty sure beating women, violence against women, something like that.
Yeah,
he beat a lot of women.
He did that.
He did do that. What is racketeering, by the way? I don't know what that is.
I don't know, like tennis.
No, not that kind of racketeering. I mean the one you get, the one that's a felon.
Oh, I don't know, like pirates, right?
Let me see. I'll just Google it real quick. AI overview. I'm glad they have that at the top of the screen now. It means a pattern of illegal activities that are carried out to make money. Organized crime. That's what it is. Racketeering is organized crime.
I'm opening my Twisted Tea.
Sure. Okay, so racketeering is organized crime.
Oh, that's foul.
So he had a. Well, now you finally.
I thought it would taste good.
I thought you finally realized that Twisted Tea is a terrible brand. Sorry,
I've never had it.
Sorry, please sponsor us. I've never had it, but I will.
I too will go to a convenience store and crack a man over the face with one of your cans.
If you give me a code to use on your website,
use code no last name.
Code crack open a old man.
Use code Gizmo Works.
That's the most unique one.
It'll be spelled with like letters
and numbers. Was charged with all
like,
that.
Symbols.
I think his house was raided by FBI or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have footage of it, don't they? Of them raiding his house, arresting
like his
him.
Kids recorded it or something. I think.
Something like it. See, it looked like security cameras, but
no.
It was probably the camera. It was probably the cameras he has in his house to record all the crimes he did. Right?
Record all the freak offs.
All the freak offs. Yeah.
U.S. Senator said these words, cannot repeat.
Their words, not mine. Their words. Their words, not mine.
He literally cannot joke enough. These were the official words. We're not making light. We're just poking at how insane it is that these are the official words for the situation.
It's a little bit of making light of it just because it's so absurd. But but his crimes are pretty serious. Apparently, the sex trafficking thing, not cool.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else he's did. I mean, apparently he's like, I heard people refer to him as like the Jeffrey Epstein of like the music industry, of how like, of how the nature of the crimes that he did. But, yeah.
Children?
Well, I don't know if it might've been children. I think with all the sex, sex offending that he's done, with all the sex trafficking that he's done, I wouldn't be surprised if there was 1 or 2 minors in there, not the occupation.
Shut up. Nobody's going to get that joke. The video hasn't come out yet.
I'm just trying to clarify, So, yeah, that he's been caught for that. Another crazy thing. Apparently, he had like 1,000 bottles of like lube or baby Johnson baby lotion in his like house somewhere.
That has been my favorite fucking ongoing bit. Is people posting videos of the police raiding his house and it's just a guy sliding around the room.
Yeah, I thought that was fake. I was thinking of I think I saw like a Gambit meme of that where like the police raiding his house and then Gambit going like, "Whoo, I'm about to make a name for myself here." And there's it's just like a warehouse filled with lotion. Like, holy crap! Wow. There's just so many bottles of lotion. Lube, lotion, you name it. It's just fuel. It's fuel for the freak offs. Their words, not mine. But thank God he's been arrested. I think he was denied. He's been denied bail.
Mm-hmm.
So it's over for him. Maybe. I'm not sure.
What I think is insane is people thinking that like he's gonna like be like murdered like how they did Epstein. People think that's gonna happen with Diddy.
I heard something that people thought he killed Tupac or like ordered Tupac's death, and then that's what it was. Yeah.
Was apparently Diddy even that big back when Tupac died?
P. Diddy's been a big thing since a long time ago, from what I heard when I looked at the situation. A video about the situation is that P. Diddy is like he was like a huge icon for a long, long time.
Trump's always been a fan of him, and I cannot stress it enough. That's not me making a joke.
I don't know when P. Diddy really like rose to prominence, but I know it was for at least like 20 years, like way before our time. James, it was probably.
I'm 23.
Then. Yeah, he's been a huge.
He's
a huge thing in the industry,
JD.
And that's also why people were like, release the footage, because he's apparently recorded a bunch of other, super popular music icons doing in their freak offs, their words, not mine. So now people want to see who was involved in them, So,
which I think is pretty freaky that they do.
I'm not the biggest like music guy ever, so I could be getting some things wrong, but I'm like 90% sure P. Diddy was a huge thing, and it's been huge for a long time. But yeah, he's finally got caught. Well, I think people were saying they knew about it a long time ago, but just didn't have evidence to get him. Anyway, though, yeah, apparently P. Diddy killed Tupac, allegedly.
Apparently. Yeah,
when Tupac died, it was like a hit ordered by P. Diddy, and that's why people were thinking, oh, P. Diddy's going to get killed by something else. I'm pretty sure there was also a theory that P. Diddy was working with the FBI during that time when the Tupac was killed, and that's why there wasn't like no further investigation or something, or like investigation wasn't as deep as it could have been. They thought he was involved with the police, the FBI.
P. Diddy?
Yeah, P. Diddy.
No.
P. Diddy and the FBI, best buds.
P.
Diddy and FBI, Ryan and Megatroni, same thing. That kind of relationship.
Who the fuck is Ryan and Megatron? Oh.
Never mind, James. You wouldn't get it, okay? You're not a real fan. You wouldn't get it.
Jack Ryan, the Tom Clancy character. I'm like,
no, I'm talking about Ryan Sack. I'm talking about Ryan Sack and Megatron. Okay.
And
sorry, not Megatron. I'm talking about D's Noose. Okay. Ryan Sack and D's Noof. So.
Anyway. Right. Yeah, if you said it that way, I would have known.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the whole thing with P. Diddy.
Trying to mislead me.
Another thing that I saw. Did you have something to say before I move on, or?
Related to the P. Diddy thing again, I can't make this clear enough. Not a joke. Donald Trump was a huge P. Diddy fan. Like, again, there's no joke to what I'm saying here. Donald Trump was just a huge fan of P. Diddy.
Yeah.
He was a huge fan. Always called him a good guy. Talked about how much he loved hanging out with him. There are like I think over 1,000 photos of them together. Does anyone believe Donald Trump when he calls someone a good guy? I think he says that to like everybody, to anybody. He just calls him. I don't think he's ever called someone like a bad guy except for his political opponent. Good friend Jeff Epstein. He was amazing island. Friend. Amazing island. I've never been there personally, but amazing island, amazing view. So you, like, the waves are so good. Exactly I've never been there. I just heard this from. What? You're getting exactly what he like says about it down too. Like really? That's what he said. Mm-hmm. He claimed that he was never there. Okay. Like I've never been there. Great guy. I heard great things. I've never been to the island. The surfing is so fun over there. I've never been there personally, but never been there personally in my off time. Except for the 69 sometimes times. Sometimes I catch up with my best friend Stephen Hawking over there, but I've never been there. By the way, Trump was recorded on the Epstein logs 69 times. See, don't say it. Did he do that on purpose? Say it. JD, don't say it. I'm not gonna say it. It's not funny this time. I passed the D&D check. I'm not gonna say it. Let's move on to the next topic that I found pretty interesting. DVD skill check. You ever heard of a thing called squatters' rights? Yeah. We've had people squat in the neighborhood above, up the street from us several times, so I've gotten used to squatters by now. I wasn't super aware of it until I heard about this popular video about this Twitch streamer that popped off about squatters. So apparently, this Twitch streamer, Asian Andy, have you heard of him? No. Apparently, he's like a degenerate in IRL streamer.
And he's one of those streamers that he walks around and he plays the any message, like TTS message that he gets out loud.
He's one of those kind of streamers.
Out loud on a speaker. Right. He's one of those kind of streamers where he gets
he's one of those.
His content is based on basically like public nuisance type of content.
Yeah.
Apparently there's been a situation with him. I think he's in California, and squatters' rights in California, at least to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me because I'm not a lawmaker or anything, but he has been dealing with a squatter in his sister's house. And he made like a video series about it. So basically what happened was Asian Andy's sister is a homeowner, and she rents out her home sometimes when she leaves on like business vacations or something. So she rents it out as like a Airbnb place, so people can just like book it for Airbnb. And apparently what you can do is part of the squatters' rights is if you like reside in a place for at least like 30 days or something, they can't forcefully kick you out of that house.
Right.
So a squatter kind of took advantage of that and booked it for 30 days. And then after the 30 days, they stopped paying for like rent and stuff, and they just squatted, right? That's basically what squatting is. They just like living there now. And so Asian Andy's sister calls him and asks for his help to get rid of this squatter, because apparently the only way you can get rid of squatters is like through civil court or something. Like you have to go through court to get rid of them, but it's like super expensive and not great. It doesn't work like most of the time either.
Yeah, civil court's also not really the best for some certain stuff. Like you can get people to pay you some, but you can't really get them to actually be convicted on crimes.
Because it's not technically a crime, even though it kind of feels like a crime to me, like squatting.
Well, it is a crime. It is a crime. It's a kind of loosey goosey crime.
Yeah, it's a loosey goosey
kind of like
crime.
Me being in the UMC. It's a haha silly kind of sickness.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but so his sister tells him about this, and he's like, yeah, I got you. So what he does is he like temporarily, he just goes into the house. He just like temporarily moves in, and then he starts being like the worst roommate you could possibly imagine. And that's his strategy for getting rid of this squatter, is by making her life, it's a girl. It's a video. It's making her life like a living hell while she's there. So what he does is like late at night, he starts blasting. He has a speaker and he starts blasting all kinds of like sound effects and music, not good music, like on the speakerphone so she can't sleep. And then he like has like 4 pounds of weed in front of him, and he just rolls them up and blunts and starts smoking it, and like filling the house with the smell of weed.
Doesn't sound like too bad of a time. I'm not gonna lie.
So his strategy is to drive her insane so that she leaves the house and never comes back.
I don't know, I'm feeling a little at home.
And so at the first, he's just like, this is going to be the best content I've ever made. And it's so funny because like at first she pretends to be like innocent stuff because she knows she's being recorded. So she's like being nice and like, hey, could you turn down the volume a bit? It's a little bit loud. And you mind if I open up a window? And the smell is getting kind of unbearable. And then, and at first they're like playing along with it. Like, oh yeah, sure. Of course. Yeah, no problem. But then like the second she leaves to go and try, the second she leaves to go back into her room and go and like try to sleep, they immediately go back to like, they close all the windows and they turn up the volume. Start blasting music again, and Asian Andy's he plays this character this whole time where he pretends he's mentally unwell, like he's a mentally unwell person, which I think he is. Like if you're that kind of content creator on Twitch where you can stand being publicly,
if like, you're a public content creator on Twitch,
like it's no joke that I think I've seen some clips of him where his TTS just like starts, it's super loud in public, like he's on a bus or something, and it just starts shouting out like racial slurs and stuff. Like I could not handle that. Mentally, I couldn't handle that. Like if the attention was centered on me.
That is a kind of crazy
I think you need to have a few screws loose in order to do that. But anyway, he starts messing with this squatter, and there's like a 4 video series of him just completely destroying the squatter's life, because his life is already kind of like destroyed if he's like in this kind of line of work, and he's just like, well, time to go to work. And like this lady just gets progressively more and more fed up with it and insane, like driven to the brink of insanity, spiraling into insanity, James. And it's just hilarious to watch.
Shut up. You did not just the Thing 2011 me.
It's hilarious. I didn't watch all the videos. I think I've only seen the first one, but I know I've seen clips from the other videos where, you know, she like tries to confront him, but he's unresponsive the whole time. That's his like shtick, is that he's mentally unwell and he's just unresponsive. So, and I think she genuinely believes that Asian Andy is mentally not there, like schizophrenic or like something like that, some kind of mental disorder. And so she like can't really blame him, because it's like talking to a brick wall. It just doesn't work. So she tries getting like everybody else involved in this, trying to get this guy kicked out, and it's not working because everyone is in on the joke. So apparently in this house too, this house is like Asian Andy's childhood house, and everybody in the neighborhood knows him and his sister. So everybody is in on this. They're
really Spider-Man. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Everybody is in on this, right? So like the local police come in, and they know who she is because apparently she's like a serial squatter, like a professional squatter or something, been doing it for a long time.
How are you a professional squatter?
I don't know, but it's just like she squatted for a long time. She's like, I think she's done it for like over 30 years or something. There's a context in this video of who they're dealing with.
Cigarette.
They're dealing with a person
for a long time.
They're dealing with a person who's been squatting for like 30 plus years. So all the local police know who she is because they've had to deal with her a bunch of times. So they're fed up with her too. So they're taking they're not listening to her at all. And like, there's like another renter there who's also friends with Asian Andy, and he pretends he doesn't know who Asian Andy is. And so she tries like beefing with him, with this other renter. And he's in on the joke too. And he's also making her life like terrible to live in with that house. So it's just, anyway, it was hilarious to watch. But it blew my mind.
It sounds hilarious, but God, does it also sound like kind of secondhand cringe?
It is cringe. It is cringe to like watch.
Well, you see, that's because
like it has to be cringe in order to get her kicked out. What's the best medicine there is for someone to leave you alone is be cringe, you know?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like that's even worse than if you just took a gun and put it against my head and like held me at gunpoint. You held me at gunpoint.
I don't
know.
Like, okay, that doesn't sound so bad.
I'm like, okay, pull the trigger, dude. Go ahead. But if someone goes up to me and he's like, hey man, have you seen that new Skibbity video? It's kind of Ohio, isn't it? I want to put the trigger against my head, and you know. Anyway.
I heard a person earlier today who like was unironically saying like all the fucking trigger phrases.
Well, like for a kid brain rot.
No, a full-grown adult.
A full-grown man.
They were saying all the trigger phrases for it, and I'm like, I had to pause and I went, do they know? Do they know that they're saying like Ohio and like all these specific words in the order that they're saying it?
I don't think I don't think you're very Sigma, James. You're not rot maxing enough.
Yeah, they literally said Sigma. You're not gonna, like, you know, what's happening in Ohio.
You're not going to take the red pill.
You're not much of a Sigma male, you know.
You live in Ohio. You'll never be able to move to Romania.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Dubai. You'll never be able to move to Dubai. It's just, you know, you just stay mad. Stay mad maxing.
I'm old on Maine.
Anyway.
Your Honor, she riz my Skibbity, Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, it blows my mind that someone like a squatter can just do that to a house. I feel like
the power they have.
Yeah, I feel like that should not be happening. Like the police literally come up to them and they say like, yeah, we can't do anything. It's a civil matter or something. We can't like forcefully take her away or anything. I'm like, what? You can't arrest her? That's crazy. I'd feel really strange if like a stranger started just living in my house.
No, you'd feel completely normal about it. So it's an okay thing.
I mean, I'm not quite like the average American family, which would just take their gun and just shoot that guy. But you know, because I don't own a gun, so I can't do that. I do that, you know. So if a squatter comes in, we're just got to, you know, we're not the most threatening family.
Yeah, you are.
Appearance wise. You know, it's not like James doesn't get the same feeling when he gets near my house that I do when I get near his. The feeling of dread.
No,
like
I feel like I belong finally when I get near yours.
Like every single one of his family members at any point could like just like rip me in half like Homelander. So anyway, yeah, that was the squatting situation. It was really interesting to watch. You should check it out sometime, James, if you're interested.
I might.
It's just a funny little watch to prepare to be a little cringed. There is a lot of cringe in there. So, you know, but it's like the funny cringe, you know, like the cringe, it's secondhand cringe that you feel because it's people who are very obviously trying to be cringe. They're being cringe on purpose in order to smoke someone out.
They're being cringe on main.
They're targeting someone.
For the betterment of humanity.
Well, anyway, I think it's about time, James. It's about time you pay.
Well, hold on, JD. Hold on, JD.
What?
I do have to show you something.
All right.
So Charlie Kirk did a debate with 20 liberals. I'm also playing Warhammer, by the way, so I'm in the middle of a multiplayer
You son of a bitch! I had a feeling with the fact that you had nothing to say and you're just off in your own, and your sponsors were like, "Oh man, I don't know, kind of cringe." Sigma.
I am playing Warhammer. I'm playing a defend the point game currently, and we are like at the end of the line fighting for our lives. I'm about to die, so don't worry. This won't be too long. Okay. Here, I can send it to you now. Charlie Kirk did an interview. Charlie Kirk, he's like you'll recognize him in the pictures, but he did an interview where he debated 20 liberals because he's like, I'm such a Sigma male.
Yeah, that sounds pretty base to me. Spam noted stay giga.
And he got dunked on by every single person because it wasn't just average college kids this time. It was like actually people who knew what the fuck they were talking about.
Oof, spam noted. That doesn't feel too good.
Nope. And it was a really good time for me because I was like, every single fucking argument here is really good.
Sure, Mr. James, I don't like debates, but I watch them all the time.
I did debate Blake at work the other day.
Was it a debate?
Coworker, yeah, debate about just regular English grammar.
Yeah, it was the debate of actuallys. Are you going to send this to me or is it?
Yeah, well, I'm in the middle of a game. Okay, so Charlie Kirk smiled. A girl said, "Ew, that was creepy." He said, "Smiling is creepy." By the way, this was all in response to
you smiled was creepy.
Yes,
that's what she said.
That is what she said.
Yeah,
but the thing was,
I can kind of relate to Charlie Kirk there.
It was very weird. He was like, what does fetus mean? And she's like, someone who like an organism that's in a utero.
The organ that's inside your head currently.
Kinda. She goes, an organism that's in utero, and he goes, what does it mean in Latin? She goes, what does that matter? What does that have to do with anything? And
answer the damn question.
Yeah, exactly. It was very much a situation like that. And she goes,
"That's good."
Like, what the fuck does that have to do with it? And he goes, "Little human thing." And then he gives the creepiest smile ever. It's full. It's like Mr.
Is this
Boss.
on camera? Did you get it on recording?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
I do have a video of the interview itself. It's also got a weird edit at the end. It was the only one I could find. Mm-hmm. But there's also other pictures of him smiling to give you an idea, JD. I'm going to send you the video first.
No.
I want you to... It's a 13-second video, so I want you to watch it first.
Sure, I'll click on it in 3, 2, 1, now.
Well, what does fetus mean?
A fetus is in utero.
What does fetus mean in Latin?
Is in utero. What the fetus mean? I'm sorry, is this
it means little human being.
No. Jesus Christ. I wasn't expecting the
like I said, there's an edit at the end. And then there's also other photos that accompany this, JD, because people are like, oh, he's always smiled like this.
Oh my God. You're right. What an unfortunate smile to have. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry your smile had to look like that. They did you dirty. It's the most, it's because it only shows his top teeth, the top row of teeth. His entire lower half of his mouth is just not smiling. It's covered. And it's like half
the first
gums.
Photo specifically makes me think of Mr. Boss.
Oh my God, you're right. He does look like Mr. Boss. Holy. Oh no. I was lying when I said I could relate when the girl called his smile creepy. I don't think I've ever had a girl call me creepy.
I had someone tell me I had beautiful eyes once. It like
very nice.
Shook me. I was like, what? No.
Yeah, and then you said to them, why are you being so creepy? Completely
and they took off a mask
moment.
and it was Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, yeah. My God, yeah. What an unfortunate smile.
He deserves to have a horrible smile. He's a very terrible fucking person. He is horribly but,
I mean,
bad.
At one point in his life when he wasn't a horrible, like he was a kid, he must have had that same smile.
No, he was like this for a very long time.
Even when he was like 3 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did the Nazi salute.
I believe you when you say that. You're old enough to know.
At the DNC, the Democrat National Convention the other week, he was talking to a 10-year-old, I think, black kid who does like TikToks where he discusses politics because he's interested in them. And Charlie Kirk was quote unquote infiltrating, aka he walked in and just walked around because you can do that.
Right.
But hey, he infiltrated, I guess.
Yeah.
He was walking around and a black kid had said something to him where he was calling out Charlie Kirk on something he said in the past about civil rights. And Charlie Kirk corrects the kid and he's like, I didn't say that civil rights were wrong. I said, or he didn't say, he was like, I didn't say they were bad. I said they were a mistake. To a 10-year-old black child. And
the 10-year-old black child was like, oh, you got me in the first half there.
He was like, I wouldn't be here, sir. And
I can't wait to use that phrase to you whenever I don't understand what you're saying. I'm like, what are you talking about, James? Say it in Latin.
I don't think they were bad.
It means little human being.
By the way, it doesn't.
I was about to say that doesn't sound right.
It means, because guess what? You can't say like dolphin fetus, because then that would mean dolphin little human being. It's offspring. It essentially just means child or offspring.
It means the offspring. Cut to
the song end of Alien Romulus. One of their songs.
Cut to the end of Alien Romulus.
Oh, I was thinking the band.
There's a lot of things you can reference with just the word offspring, but yeah.
Also, I have one more thing. I'll make it quick. So a lieutenant governor of, I think, North Carolina, Sir Mark Robinson, I think.
Okay, what about Mark?
He's a Republican. Sure. And he's been endorsed by Donald Trump. And I believe he's also the guy that made the ad where he was running for like governor or senator of the full state. And he was like, hey, the Democrats are the KKK. And I have an AR-15 and I'm going to kill all the KKK Democrats.
Got him. It's spam noted.
and everyone went, you're actually insane. And he said, no.
And then I stood up in the crowd in that broadcast and I said, spam noted, stay GigaChad. And then that's where it ends right there. I mean, just what an amazing thing to say. Patriotic.
No.
To the T.
So that was the thing a while ago. The new thing, JD, it's come out because it was revealed by him posting his full name and address and saying, yes, this is me back in like 2008.
Good idea. Okay.
He said this back in 2008. He was on some kind of porn website. I'm not entirely sure. All I know is it was, yeah. And on there, well, hold on. On there, he said something, JD. It's not just that.
Okay.
Well, he is a gooner.
He's a gooner, yeah.
Self-admitted.
Aren't we all gooners?
No, JD, he's a self-admitted all the way back then in 2008.
Okay, he's a veteran gooner, so.
And he admitted to being a black Nazi.
Interesting.
And people realized, oh, that's why he hated when Donald Trump said he's the next MLK.
So that's why he took offense to that facepalm moment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I'd feel if I was called the next MLK. So I kind of just relate to him.
I don't think it would apply to you, JD. I don't.
You sure?
I think you're the next rooftop Korean.
I feel like in the next 20 years, maybe something like that will happen. When I run for office.
I'm going to be the next Donald Trump so I can call you it.
You're the one who makes that claim.
But yeah, yet again, this is another time Donald Trump has been good friends and allies of a horrible, horrible person.
Yeah. I mean,
that was it. Just real. Oh, cool. Yeah. And JD Vance admitted that he made up the Haitian people eating dogs and cats thing on national TV and said, yes, I lied about this horrible racist stereotype, but I did it for you, the people.
I did it for the greater good of Krypton.
And with that,
if you enjoyed, you should subscribe. And you have to hit that bell notification icon. I don't think I've said that before, but you do, because you won't get notified for the video crapshoot that comes out every Sunday. 2, my streams, just like James here, my good friend who doesn't have the bell notifications turned on. So you won't be able to see my streams.
I don't. I got to remember to turn those on.
and then you can check James out in the links in the description below, because he's there. He streams way more often than I do because he's a gamer.
What's
not really.
The difference?
I'm not going to explain to him what Twitch drops are ever. It's just going to be an on-running bid.
Also, keep an eye out for a commentary track me and JD did for Transformers 1. And on my channel, I will, by this time tomorrow, be recording another Celluloid Slaughter as well.
Ooh.
We're back, for that baby.
We're back, baby. But yes, we did record a commentary track for Transformers 1. That's going to be coming out within the next 3 months. Guaranteed.
How much is us actually making commentary? Yeah, you'll find out.
Guaranteed. And with that, I mean, that's it for me. James, bring us out.
So I didn't even talk about